So I want to tell you about a dress. Last summer, I had this white linen dress that I had found at a thrift store. It was Italian linen. It was beautiful. It also presented a problem because it was really too sheer for me to wear without something under it. So, and then in my collection of inspirational images, I had an image of a white plaster arch, swimming pool water beneath it, and then sea in the background. The feeling is relaxed. I mean, you feel like it's summery there. I mean, like it feels like it's probably hot, a little luminous. And that image is what inspired the solution to the dress problem. I started looking for an underlayer, and it kind of needed to be like a tank dress. And I found one that was long and it was the exact right color. It was a light, clear pool blue. It wasn't like sky blue or turquoise or anything. It was like swimming pool blue. And so when I put these two pieces together, the outfit felt like the picture. So that's the whole principle. Most of us were taught to find style inspiration by looking at other people's outfits. Find your style icon or whatever. Pinterest boards full of women wearing things we want to wear. Instagram accounts dedicated to a particular aesthetic or influencer, lookbooks, shopping sites, and so on. And those sources aren't useless. The problem is they're actually putting you inside someone else's aesthetic from the start. So you're not asking, what do I love? You're asking, could I pull that off? Which are obviously completely different questions. And only one of them leads to a signature style that's truly individual. When your style inspiration comes from outside the domain of clothing, you can bypass all that, all the body image or like body type questions, the comparison. She has different proportions, or that only works because of her coloring. I remember like before I studied all the technicalities of style, before I even knew that it was such a thing, I just couldn't understand like why this dress looks good on this one person and I look super frumpy in it. But when you go outside the domain of clothing, then you're just looking for a feeling. So I used to listen to the podcast. Now I try to watch the podcast on YouTube from Alice Lane, Dear Alice, and they're like a home interiors design firm. So recently, Jessica Bennett revealed her new home office, and the inspiration for the room was a photograph of a baby blue antique Italian sports car. It wasn't, I mean, I'm sure she had mood boards of other offices, but that wasn't her mood boards or Pinterest boards or whatever weren't the main inspiration. The main inspiration for the feeling she wanted this room to convey was this uh, an image of a car. And the result was a space that felt original because the starting point was completely personal. When I listened to their podcast, one of the things, this particular episode especially, one of the things that they always say is they have their clients go actually into their wardrobes for their home inspiration, which makes sense. You're like kind of separating the two. So when you're thinking about your wardrobe, separating what you like visually from clothes. And then that's what the best designers do across every domain. They're finding ways for you to connect with what you really love. Going somewhere unexpected for style inspiration, because unexpected sources give you uncontaminated signal. You can figure out what you actually respond to, not what you've just been conditioned to want, because everybody always thinks that whatever's in style has always been their favorite. But we need to learn to see past style to what is really authentic to us. So if you want to understand your own aesthetic more deeply, the place you can start is by watching my free video masterclass. It's called The Myers-Briggs Key to Signature Style, and it connects your personality type to your natural style direction, and that makes the whole translation process significantly easier. You can find that link in either the show description here or just go to my website, signaturestylesystems.com. Okay, so how do you translate an image into an outfit? Here's where it gets practical. The image gives you a feeling. Your job is to identify what elements are creating that feeling and then find their equivalent in clothing. So, with my linen dress, the image gave me a color story, white, pool blue, the quality of light you get near water. It gave me a texture story. It was like a combination of wet and dry. Uh, it was like smooth plaster and the pool water was very smooth, but the water at the sea behind was more textured. And then a feeling of relaxation and warmth and unhurriedness. Anyway, once I could name those elements, then I knew right away I needed a blue tank dress. And I was shopping specifically for that when I actually found it on gap.com, like on super clearance. And I was shopping for a specific feeling. So here's what that process looks like when you do it for yourself. Find an image from anywhere that stops you. It could be nature, architecture, art, a room, a car, a piece of fabric. It doesn't need to have to do anything with clothing. And then ask, what is making me feel this way? You can name the colors, the textures, the quality of light, the mood. Ask, what would it feel like to wear this? Um, Not what it would look like, but what it would feel like. And some of that has to do with like where you are actually going. One of the things I notice about my images, particularly, is a lot of them. I don't know, this is, I guess, kind of cute now that I think about it. A lot of them are streetscapes with like little bistro tables with nobody at them. And so it's like, oh, something exciting could happen here. And that's the feeling. That wasn't the feeling from that particular image, but that's the feeling that a lot of my pictures give. Then you go looking for those elements in your wardrobe first, or in a store or online. And you don't need to be an expert to start collecting the images and identify what feels personal to you. That is completely up to you. It does like get more nuanced in the translation, learning to read the themes of what the image is telling you about line, scale, color harmony, all the like technical art principles and how those principles apply to your specific body and coloring. That is actually the heart of my work and what I do in Signature Style Foundations, which is the next step after the congruence code. So if you're at the point where you have images you love, but you're not sure what they're telling you about what to wear, that's exactly what Signature Style Foundations is designed to solve. And if now feels like the right time, you can find the details at signaturestylesystems.com or just reach out to me with an email at hello@signaturestylesystems.com. So here's something simple you can do this week to integrate these principles into your wardrobe. Pull one image that you have recently discovered that you just love. It doesn't have to be a style image. It's kind of better if it's not. Anything, a landscape, a room, a color combination you saw somewhere. And then in your journal, write down three things like, what are the colors in this image and how do they relate to each other? What textures or other visual qualities do you notice? And what is the feeling you get when you look at this image? Is there a time you have felt that way in an outfit? You're not making any decisions. You're just starting to read your own aesthetic signal. You know, a while ago, I talked about a client who has gotten style guides from me. She's gotten her signature style and color foundations. And she doesn't actually need to take the guides with her shopping anymore because she just remembers her images and her pictures, and she's able to go straight from the pictures to what she needs to wear. And that can be you too. It can be that easy. So thank you for being here for the Signature Style Systems podcast. Have fun being you, and I will meet you back here again real soon.